I rather wish you'd stop doing that. Magical mummies. When Jeddy died, he'd be made into a mummy. His body would be preserved so it wouldn't go mouldy and smelly like old cheese. The Egyptians had lots of tries at making mummies, and some of them went wrong. It took them hundreds of years to work out how to make a good mummy. And of course, once they'd learned, they had to pass on the skills to young mummy makers. I suppose they must have had some sort of mummy school. Can you imagine a teacher telling you how to care for a corpse?
Oh no, I didn't do my history homework.
Right, class 4, settle down. You boy, stop picking your nose and pay attention. You are here in this beautiful house to learn how to make a mummy. Why is it called a beautiful house? Well, you wouldn't want to tell the dying king you're taking him off to a disgusting old ugly house, would you? We want him to think he's going to have a beautiful time in here, and yes, Gary, good point, it's not even a house, is it? No, it's just a tent in the desert. Can't have it in the town because the smell would make people sick. And there are no sides to the tent so the winds can blow away the stink. There are guards around the outside to keep away the thieves. Our kings have a lot of jewels wrapped inside their bandages. Put it down, Gary. Do not touch the jewels, you thieving little toe rag. Where was I? Ah, yes. The guards also keep out the jackals, who like the scent of dead flesh and would eat our corpses before they got to the grave. Now, the first step is to take a dead pharaoh. Of course, we're not going to let a bunch of bungling boys loose on a real pharaoh, so here we have a peasant for you to practice on. What's that, Sheila? Oh, Gary's crying because we're going to make a mummy out of his daddy. Oh, come on, Gary. I'm sure he won't mind. In fact, very few peasants get to be made into mummies, so it's a great honour. We'll lay him on this special table, a table made of planks with gaps between, and the gaps are to let the bodily juices drip down into the sand underneath. We can't be working on a sloppy table. So, let's dump Gary's dad, our pharaoh, on the table. That's the way. Now, first, we have to throw away all the bits that aren't important. We start with the brain. None of us need a brain. It doesn't do much, and it goes mouldy quickest. So, let's see. You, Brian, take that chisel and hammer and push it up the nose of the corpse. No, Brian. Push the sharp end of the chisel up the nose, not the hammer. That's it. Now, tap it till you break through. Good. Very good. Maybe a little hard. The chisel isn't meant to come out through the top of the head. But never mind. Now, Matthew, I want you to take this bit of bent wire, push it up the nose, use the hook on the end to pull out the brain. Now, if it's a problem, just swirl the hook around till his brains are as mushy as porridge, and then scoop them out with a spoon. That's good, yes. I know it's running down your arm, but keep going and dump it in this bucket. We stuff some packing in the brain to dry it out, and then we turn to the interesting bit. Removing the innards. Now, I want you to meet a very special person. The Ripper. No, Nicholas, he is not an ugly beggar. He is wearing a mask. Now, I take this reed pen and mark a line on the side of the corpse like this. And now, The Ripper takes a sharp stone knife from his belt and slices along the line that I've just drawn. Watch how he stuffs his hand into the body, wriggles it around and rips out the stomach. I take it and wrap it in a cloth. Then I pop it into one of these stone jars. They are known as canopic jars. The lids are decorated with the heads of gods. This one for the guts is Duamatef, the jackal, and for the liver, stomach and lungs we have Imseti the man, the falcon and the baboon. No, Matthew, the baboon does not look just like Gary. For that, you can have the job of washing out the insides of Gary's dad. I mean, the corpse. That's right. Make sure it's nice and clean. And now it's time to say goodbye to the Ripper. The Ripper's job is an unclean job. He does his duty and then the priests have to drive him out of the house of death because he's an unclean man. They have to shout really nasty names at him. So let's have some suggestions. Wayne, desert dog, good one. Stephen, filthy rat, very good. Andrew, snake with the smell of a hippo's bum, excellent. Yes, Gary, corpse fly. And one more from you, Edward. No. Snot drip from the tip of a history teacher's nose is not what I had in mind. But there he goes. The Ripper has run away, just as he is supposed to. It's a game, really. But he's an important man. One day, you may get to be the Ripper, Gary. Now, we pack the mummy full of a special salt called natron, and we leave it to dry out for a few weeks. We haven't got a few weeks to wait because I need to show you how to wrap a dry mummy in bandages. So here's one I made earlier. What, Gary? Oh, it's your mum, is it? Oh dear. Oh, you haven't had a lot of luck lately, have you? Oh dear. Never mind. It's amazing what today's scientists can find out by just unwrapping a mummy. Pharaoh Ramesses II had a lot of black-head spots on his face, and Ramesses III was a rather fat man. Sequenenri seems to have met a rather horrible end. There was a wound on his scalp that had pierced the skull, and the face was twisted in agony. Some scientists think he was murdered in his sleep. Others think he was killed in battle. His mummy had been made quickly to stop it going off. And that would explain the most horrible find of all. Blood clotted into his hair.